Alex Shurikat presents my very emotional parody audiobook, Steamgelion! Roles played by Sonia Ivanov, Cindy Ikari,
Marina Kalina,
Misato Katsuragi, Rimaka Gage, Ritsuko Akagi, Commander Ivanov, Gendo Ikari, Raya Enama, Rei Ayanami,
Hanka Litvinenko,
Asuka Langley,
Ali Katzman,
Aida Kensuke, Toля Suzuhara, Todzi Suzuhara,
Roma Kazi,
Ryuji Kazi. First season, 11th episode. It was raining slowly over Moscow City. Alec and Tola, just like in the Evangelion, it's not clear why we were in Sanya's apartment. Damn rain. Tola said the river, glancing at the cat, which was clearly aiming at his leg. I completely agree with you. Alec agreed, taking off his wet school jacket and hanging it on a hanger hook.
Sanya, isn't Marina at home?
Sanya glanced at the door of Comet Karina and said, She is, but she's sleeping like a sleeping beauty. Yesterday, she went to the parent meeting and Dad ordered not to pour her the frontline 100 grams. And then she made up for lost time until midnight. Today is her day off. Come into the living room and I'll boil the kettle. The young man, under the escort of the cat, entered. Tola saw the guitar in the corner and said, Wow, Sonia, do you play guitar? Yes, I do, a little, Sonia said from the kitchen. So why did you hide it so many episodes? Will you play something? Well, I will. Sonia returned from the kitchen and took his musical instrument. I can't say what I play well. Sonia modestly admitted and ran his finger along the strings once. But then, by chance, someone rang the doorbell.
Is it another bad guest?
Alec thought aloud. Sonia shrugged and went out into the hallway and opened the door. The guest, and not at all wet, was Anka, who had a towel, soap, shampoo and some clothes in her hands. Anka, of course, was also wearing clothes.
Good evening,
She said and shook the broad inventory.
Sashko. For some reason, I don't have hot water in my apartment. Can I take a shower in your bathroom?
Of course, please. Sonia showed generosity and let Anka in. She entered and went straight to the bathroom. As soon as Sonia returned to his friends, Tola excitedly asked him in a loud whisper.
Sonia, is Anka here or what?
Yes, she is. Sonia answered and took the guitar.
And did she go straight to the bathroom?
Yes, she did. Tola turned one ear towards the hallway and listened. Sonia and Alec stared at him. There was a sound of running water. Said Tola, slowly moving towards the exit from the living room as if a strong magnet began to pull him. How should I say this? Alec nodded understandingly and said,
You must do your duty, yes?
Something like what? Tola answered already halfway to the bathroom door. But is it good to do what? Sonia asked doubtfully.
If I had come, you would not have doubted.
Alec remarked skeptically.
In addition, when Anka grows up, she will even throw a scandal to Tola if she finds out, but he never spied on her even once in childhood. Women are like that.
Inspired by these words, Tola took a decisive step, but in the hallway he suddenly ran into Comet Karina's piercing gaze. Dressed in the uniform, she stood in front of the bathroom door like a relentless guard.
Well,
She said sternly, tapping her foot on the floor.
For what purpose are you here?
Saving the situation, Alec and Sonia came running and stood on either side of Tola.
He went to find out where our toilet is,
Sonia exclaimed.
This is the purest truth.
Alec confirmed and, after carefully examining Comet Karina's epaulets, tried to chat her up.
Aunt Marina, where is your promotion in rank? This episode should have it!
Comrade Kalina smirked and said,
For getting stuck in an elevator, the rank is not promoted. And now, turn around and go!
The young man returned to the living room. Tola put his hands on his head and groaned. In the future the scandal awaits me. Alex shook his head and remarked,
Management does not appreciate Aunt Marina at all. But since she hasn't been promoted, maybe let's celebrate your medals.
There were no objections, but the first significant event after an unsuccessful attempt to spy on Anka during water procedures was not a party but an extremely important synchronization test. The action took place in the training room of Vendergrunker. Comet Agevich froze with a clipboard in her hands, holding a pencil over it and staring intently at the table with cells. Comet Kalina showed obvious anxiety and bit her nails. Rai was calm and impassive, like the EVA 00 with no energy. Anka looked somewhat arrogant. And Sanya stood in front of the table, frowning, concentrating, and holding two dice in his right hand. Finally, he made up his mind and threw the dice, accompanying them with some sort of magical gesture. The dice jumped on the table several times and showed everyone 6 and 6.
Well done, sir!
Comet Kalina exclaimed and rushed to hug Sanya.
You're just born to throw dice!
Yes, it's not a bad result. Comrade Agevich stated, writing down something in the clipboard. Total, Sanya, you have 250 points. 2 points more than Raya. Anka chuckled and remarked,
But still 30 points less than me!
Sanya pushed Comet Kalina away from him and said to Anka with a smile, Is it possible to beat you, Galio?
It doesn't matter.
Comet Kalina said,
Sanya's abilities have grown quite noticeably, and in just a week.
That's right. Comet Agevich confirmed. According to the results of the test for synchronization with dice, I can say that all of you have made significant progress in the ability to get 5s and 6s. But the greatest progress has small. Girls, you must not fall behind.
The task is clear,
Anka and Raya said in a duet. And further, our heroes gathered at the party. True, not immediately with a full complement, but in any case, Anka, Raya, Comet Kalina, Alec, Tole and Sanya were already sitting around the late table in Sanya's apartment at 7:30. Comrade Kalina, who in view of Alec's organizational skills did not leave the kitchen for an hour preparing a treat for the company, looked uneasily at the sideboard in which there was a bottle corresponding to the situation. The children were discussing some controversial moment from the history of the Communist Party. Finally, someone rang the doorbell. Comet Kalina rushed into the hallway and opened the door.
Glory to the Communist Party!
Exalted Comet Kalina at the sight of Comet Agevich, who came. Looking out of the apartment, as if wanting to see someone else outside, Comet Kalina was even upset, but did not show it and invited the guest to sit down at the table. And just as soon as the glasses were filled, the doorbell rang again. And who is this? Sanya was surprised. Wildly delighted, Comet Kalina silently ran out into the hallway and flung open the door.
Hi.
She said happily to Comet Cousin, modestly standing in front of the threshold.
I'm glad I am that you have come. Please come in. Hello, Marina.
Comet Cousin said and stepped into the apartment.
Thank you for invitation.
Everyone at the table had their jaws dropped so hard that they almost hit the table top. What's with them? Comet Agevich said, shocked.
Aunt Marina.
Alec asked with excitement.
What does it mean?
Comrade Kalina stood next to Comrade Cousin and, embracing him with one hand around the neck, cheerfully proclaimed.
It means exactly what you see.
Raya nodded her head and remarked.
It looks like our elevator is magical.
Anka was clearly interested in this remark about the elevator. Since the party in our series was not so long ago, we'll touch on it only briefly. All evening Comet Cousin and Comet Kalina were amiable with each other like Kunzite and Zoicide. Comet Kalina was even very moderate in drinking and, at the end of the event, escorted Comet Cousin home. True, when he escorted her back. Kometagevich carefully studied all these phenomena. Alec, on the other hand, was terribly worried and lost all his organizational initiative. Anka constantly tried to sit closer to Raya. Raya was moving away and Toля following Anka. And in the end, over the past gatherings, this trinity went around the table 4 times. Now we turn to description of hostilities. His actions were aggravated by the fact that Comet Ivanov left with his friends to hand, and accordingly, Comet Kalina, in the event of an attack, had to take command of herself. But first, let's see how Comet Ivanov's process of unity with nature went. Somewhere in woods, a fire was burning. Birds sang. 3 men in quilted jackets and hats with ear flaps were sitting around the fire. All 3 had shotguns and cartridge belts. Nearby on the ground lay a radio transmitter that was used as a table. And on this table were 3 glasses, some snacks and a bottle with fire water.
Gennady!
One of the men called. What, Coach? Responded, of course, Comrade Ivanov.
Look around! It's almost a primeval world, untouched by man.
Yes, Mihalich, but I prefer a world inhabited by people.
And what are you doing here?
Sometimes I prefer to take a break from the world inhabited by people.
Philosopher! You love science.
Yes, I do. Science protects us, Mihalich.
Thus, it destroys us.
I agree, Mihalich. For example, science invented alcohol, which we poison here.
Wait, why are you immediately against the sacred? Okay, let the science be useful.
Comrade Ivanov smiled at Mihalich and, turning to the 3rd man who had been silent throughout the conversation, said, "In that case, let's use the achievements of science. Nikanorovich, power it up." The 3rd man perked up, but as soon as he took up the bottle, the radio transmitter suddenly squeaked, demanding attention. Comet Ivanov sighed and took the headphones with the microphone that lay on the grass. Putting the headphones on himself, Comet Ivanov said, Ivanov speaking.
Comrade Ivanov, Akagevich is here! A Sam approaching!
So what? Senior Lieutenant Kalina has all the powers. Let her practice.
Comrade Ivanov, she commands as if she were at home. Take care of her upbringing, at least later. Ouch!
The voice over the radio changed to the voice of Comrade Kalina.
Comrade Ivanov, everything is under control. Drink, rest safely.
Do it, Comrade Kalina. I will listen.
Yes, sir.
So, the Sam has arrived. By the way, as for the past Sam, whose name was Franklin, it was decided to bury him right in the tunnel he had made. Moreover, this decision caused a terrible hysteria on the part of Kometagevich, who strongly disliked the idea of burying the almost undamaged enemy robot. But the command and the age from Smolny were inexorable, and a cement plant received a state order for a huge batch of its products. But for now, Sam Franklin rested, one might say, under the open sky in his tunnel.
It's flying, damn it.
Kalina commented, looking through the periscope, pointing its lens somewhere into the sky.
And so high.
Indeed, with the fist of his right hand thrust forward like the Superman, the Sam raced about 15 kilometers above the surface of the Earth on jet engines.
What shall we call it?
Asked Comrade Kalina. Now you are the head of everything, Kometagevich answered, rubbing the bruise on the top of her head. think for yourself.
Well, let's call it Edison.
Comrade Agevich instantly became angry.
Don't touch scientists! Dumb politicians are not enough for you or what?
Comrade Kalina just chuckled contemptuously and continued to observe, and the Sam Edison suddenly slowed down its flight and hovered in one place, feet down.
Edison stopped.
Comrade Kalina commented.
Dropped something.
What did he drop? Comrade Agevich alarmed. Comrade Kalina twisted the periscope settings and answered.
He dropped a weight.
And in fact, looking down at Moscow City, hidden underground, Sam Edison unhooked a weighty weight from its belt, to which some kind of cable was tied, and let it fly free. Having whistled all 15 kilometers, the weight almost touched the ground and soared back, as its cables seemed to be rubber.
Aiming bastard.
Comrade Kalina gasped. Comrade Agevich rushed to the periscope and, pushing Comrade Kalina aside, said,
Let me have a look. Maybe he'll drop something more serious next.
Or maybe it thought of falling itself?
Comrade Kalina followed.
This is a far-fetched conclusion. And the Sam wouldn't drop the weight again.
I bet for an asterisk from the shoulder strap. It will going to fall itself.
Barked Comrade Kalina and grabbed the place at the periscope again.
I can smell it by intuition. And I think I know where Edison is going.
Comrade Agevich, who was visited by a hunch, was stunned by managed to say,
That's right, damn it. The Sam can easily get through the acid tunnel.
Yes, and I'm talking about the same.
Exclaimed Comrade Kalina, rushing to the telephone on Comrade Ivanov's desk.
Hello, Department of Defense, quick! Quicker! Is it the department? This is the Starboard and Gruker Commander Kalina. Do you see Edison in the sky? You're hallucinating, you jerk. This is the name of the Sam now. Do you see him, you idiot? What? A colonel? That's right, ma'am. No, not at all, ma'am. Comrade Colonel, allow me to ask for your assistance. Drive the Sam away from Moscow City with something for at least 1 hour. Yes, that's right, ma'am. Hope you, ma'am.
Hung up, Comrade Kalina pulls the keys to some warehouse from the desk and rushed to the door, saying as she went.
Rima, when the pilots arrive, put them in robots and bait.
Fulfilling the request of Comrade Kalina, the Ministry of Defense launched a whole swarm of fighters into the air, which, showering Sam Edison with missiles, forced him reluctantly to retire to the edge of the city and seek shelter among the clouds. The missiles didn't do any damage to the Sam, but the Sam didn't seem to like the blast scratching its paint. In just 1 hour, having completed part of her secret plan, Comrade Kalina rushed back to the command center and wearily collapsed into the boss chair. She breathed.
I have never driven so fast in the car before.
Knowing firsthand how Comrade Kalina drives, third engineer choked and coughed. Comrade Kalina winked at Comrade Agevich and said,
We'll crush him.
Comrade Agevich nodded her head disapprovingly and said,
The probability of success, of course, is not zero, but...
I believe in my Soyuzes.
Comrade Kalina proudly retorted and called out to the children, who were already in the cockpits.
Guys, did you hear me?
At this time, the Sam, who was swinging the way, trying to drive the annoying planes away from him, was already starting to get angry. But suddenly all the fighters turned around and went home. The Sam waved his hand at them and moved back to his previous position. And after all, how great is the power of Comrade Kalina's intuition! The Sam hovered right above the tunnel that his unfortunate colleague had made. Having thrown the weight 1 more time, the Sam was convinced that the trajectory of the upcoming flight was correct and began to prepare. Here, 3 of the Soyuzes arrived in time to the place of penetration into the Grunker and stood along the edge of the gaping hole. Sanya raised his head and reported, The Sam has begun to fall!
Excellent.
Comrade Kalina praised over the radio.
Now, Rest, Gallium Small. Put your whole soul into it. Portray as best as possible what you are going to catch the same with your hands. I soon.
Rai replied.
Just I'll finish my wheel. Rust, you don't believe in me? We'll go to an ice cream parlor later. At my expense. When I have ice cream with strawberries from the Kremlin garden. Halt, Marina, can I have a trophy Coca-Cola?
Anka asked. Alright, yours enough. Sanya said and looked up again. Begin! Fuel oil pressure to the maximum! And the three mighty Soyuzers turned, impeccably demonstrating their intention to grab the Sam as he approached the ground. The Sam, rapidly flying down, again putting forward the fist of his right hand, only grinned at the sight of Whis and arrogantly raised his middle finger from his fist, thus demonstrating his confidence that it will be not possible to catch him. But when only 200 meters were left to the Earth, Sam Edison, who was incredibly accelerating on jet engines and gravity, suddenly noticed that the tunnel on the ground was drowned! The Sam hit the brakes, but it was already useless, and crashing into the asphalt at full speed, the Sam turned into a big metal American pancake, which immediately exploded and overturned all three Soyuzers with a blast wave.
Victoria!
Comet Kalina showed deep knowledge of the Latin language and called.
Guys, how are you there?
Rai replied first.
I have lived such a happy life.
The second was Anka.
Out, Marina. Bury me with my beloved assault rifle.
And finally, Sanya answered too.
Comrade Akagevich, enroll me in your club. Posthumously.
Comrade Kalina threw up her hands and exclaimed.
Come on, guys, what are you talking about? Get ready to go to an ice cream parlor. Comrade Ivanov, can you hear us?
Comrade Ivanov answered almost immediately. Judging by his voice, he had already clearly raced a couple of toasts to the victory.
That's right, Comrade Kalina. I heard everything. And for the excellent leadership of the battle, Comrade Kalina, you should be promoted in rank. But since in the last episode you called me Genish again, tonight, end of connection.
Comrade Kalina bared her teeth and grumbled.
What a bespectacled freak.
I hear everything.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, not about me. I'm the only one in the whole series with glasses.
No, you are not only one. That's I said to you after the party.
Okay. No, wait a minute, Comrade Kalina. The author of the party has not worn glasses for a long time.
Ouch.
And finally, the pilots and Comet Kalina occupied an ice cream parlor. Moreover, almost literary, because in view of the importance of their persons, the ice cream parlor was cornered off, inspected, and admitted. All four sat at a round table in an empty room. The table was littered with various ice creams because, unlike the Nerv, in the Star, where officers were paid very well, there was trophy Coca-Cola here too. Sanya scooped up his ice cream with a spoon and said, "Well, let's remember the past. But don't ask who and why became a pilot of a Soyuz. Outmarine, tell us something about the Second World War." Comrade Kalina sighed, and for the third time looking for something in the menu, she said,
Well, my grandfather told me. Somehow the Germans captured him and they say, "Show us where your command post is, or we'll execute you." And
Anka asked excitedly.
we executed him. Twice.
"Aunt Marina, how can he tell you this in that case?" Raya asked. "If he was executed, and two more time,"
Yeah.
breathed Comrade Kalina.
My grandfather was capable of even more. And what about him now?
Anka asked cautiously.
He's retired. He asked to join the army again when the United States attacked us. But we did not let him in. They said, "You fought, let others fight." My grandfather even arranged a scandal in the military registration and enlistment office.
Anka folded her palms and said dreamily.
What would be to meet him? He must be a great officer. No, he was an ordinary all his life.
Judging by his granddaughter, I can guess why. Sanya muttered and furtively looked at Raya. Aunt Marina,
What about your father?
Comrade Karina suddenly broke into a wide smile and pressed Sanya's nose with her finger and said,
This is a military secret.
"To be continued."